Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark from the United States.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Mark from the States. How are we doing today? I am doing fantastic. That must come as a shock. I'm always fantastic. Even when I'm not fantastic, I'm saying I'm fantastic. You know, that stems from my father. My father used to always say he's fantastic, even though you can clearly see, especially as he in his older years, he was not fantastic, but he would tell everybody he was fantastic. And I've always kind of taken that from him, you know? And that's where that kind of stems from. Fantastic. I am fantastic. But you know what? Today I am fantastic. It's a beautiful day. Even though I can't see it, it's still dark outside. It's about 5:45 in the morning, my time. So it's early. I love it. It's quiet. I'm just here with Miss Violet. You see her? Hello. She's cleaning herself. Hopefully that camera's right. I'm not sure. Yeah, we're going to check out Darren over at Ventura. Love this channel. Below me, links to his channel and this video, so please get over there and support him. I know there's a bunch of you who do enjoy his channel, so I say thank you for supporting him. And if you don't know anything about Darren, he does all these little adventures, sure, to all these like places that I wouldn't ever hear about. They're not these mainstream tourist places. He goes and just kind of shows you all these other little not so mainstream touristy things, and he shows us around his local area, Leeds and Bradford, and I'm not sure where this is. This video is called Mysterious Chained Oak Tree, The Legend of Hex. I have no idea what he's talking about, but I'm going to learn something today, and maybe some of you will as well. And if that's the case, win chicken dinner. Winner chicken dinner. That's how that goes. So yeah, come sit with me on this big fake couch and let's find out something new. And maybe some of you have never heard of it. Maybe some of you have. You can all fill me in on the things that I'm, inevitably going to miss and have go right over my head. That's what makes you all special, and that's why I love our channel. All right, let's do it.
So I'm here in some woods just behind Alton Towers, outside the park boundary, and we're looking for the chained oak tree.
Alton Towers. That sounds really familiar to me. I know he did Emily Tower, and we watched a video on him doing Emily Tower. I don't know. I can't remember if Darren, maybe he has a video and I haven't seen it, but for some reason that sounds familiar to me. But yeah, just to reiterate, get over there and support Darren and everything he does. And he's just a great guy, and he was one of the very first, by the way, that gave his permission for us to learn. So I will always hold that in high regard, and just am truly blessed that Darren did that. So just really cool. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. So let's get back to the video.
So if you've been to Alton Towers and you've been on the ride called Hex, you will know a loose story based on this oak tree. Now the Alton Towers version is much exaggerated and obviously fits the ride that you're going on. But the tale is almost true. And we're going to look at that story and take a look at the oak tree when we find it, because there is an actual chained oak tree in these woods. So as we head down deep into the woods, I have absolutely no idea where we're heading, but I know it's somewhere at the bottom of this track and sort of that way. Now what we're looking for are some steps on the right hand side going up the hill. And then at the top of those steps will be the famous chained oak tree. Now, it has been there for many hundreds of years, and nobody actually knows 100% sure why it has chains on it, but there are a few local legends as to why. I've already found it. That was pretty quick, to be honest. There's the stairs on the right, and there's the oak tree, or what's left of it anyway.
You wonder if
now this has been a famous attraction in this area for hundreds of years, and even back in the Victorian times they talked about the legend of this tree. And we'll go through those various legends and also take a closer look at what's left of the oak tree, because as you can see just on the left side here, it's suffered some significant damage. People are not sure whether it was damaged by vandals or wind, or whether it's part of the legend as to why that big branch has fallen.
I hope it was just natural falling over. Hopefully humans aren't. You know, a while back, you know, the story of the tree at Hadrian's Wall there being vandalized. Oh, that gutted me. Hearing about that story and watching the news stories about it, it just, but I am so happy to hear, and a lot of you have mentioned to me, informed me that they were able to get some seeds, or, you know, maybe not seeds, but, you know, parts of that tree, and replanted it. So they're hoping that they can get another one to grow, which would be tremendous if that's able to happen. But just why would you do that? I just, still to this day, I don't know really why they did. But just why would you? I just don't understand. Cry for help, maybe. But anyway, this tree does look like it's seen better days. So I believe maybe, hopefully, it's just natural that it's dying out. You wonder if there are chains and wrapped around the tree or whatever. We're going to hopefully get a view of it. That maybe that has something to do with the tree's poor health, maybe? I don't know.
So if you're familiar with the Alton Towers version, which is on the Hex ride, I'll give you a brief synopsis. So the Earl of Shrewsbury, who lived at Alton Towers in the 1800s, was heading back home up this track here behind me, back to the towers, and then a beggar stepped out into the road here and asked him to spare a farthing, and he cruelly dismissed the witch, or the lady, and she put a curse on him and his family, and she said, for every branch of the old oak tree that falls, a member of your family will suddenly and mysteriously die. Well, that particular night, the oak tree was struck by lightning during a storm, and a branch fell to the ground, and a member of the Earl's family did die that night. So he became rather frantic about this, and he took the branch that had fallen from the oak tree back to the towers, and he ordered the remaining branches on the tree to be chained up so that they couldn't fall no matter what happened. And that's why it's chained up to this day, apparently. That's the Alton Towers version anyway. And then it takes a supernatural turn at the end to fit in with the ride. So let's have a closer look at the oak tree. So I've just headed up the stairs here off the path, and as you can see, it does have chains. Now this is the fallen branch here, and there are some rather heavy chains on there,
and they look old,
and they run all the way up. There's even some padlocks on this section here, but I think they're a new addition, probably those 2019, those love padlocks that people put on bridges and things. It's rather naff. I don't know why people do that, but they do. And then the main section of the tree is right here, and we're going to head up behind it in a second. And if you just look up there, you can see there are some chains still remaining up on that section there, dangling between those two branches.
Oh, there it is.
Now,
okay.
Like I said, it used to be a full oak tree and covered in chains all the way around it, which would back up the story a little bit. Now I'm just going to put this newspaper clipping in here, which is dated the 28th of August 1926. And it says there's a very old oak tree near the Middle Lodge at Alton Towers, reputed to be 600 years old. And over 40 years ago, the late Lord Shrewsbury ordered the limbs to be supported by large crane chains. But that's the only bit of evidence that talks about it being ordered to be chained up. Now let's head up a bit closer and just take a closer look at the top section. So here you go, we're just behind the tree now, up on a ledge, and you can see there a chain running up this branch here, and also another one just up there, and one hanging down right in front of us there. So they are all over the tree, and on some parts of the tree, especially just up here, and I'll just zoom in for you, that section is, the chain has actually grown into the tree, or should I say, the tree has grown around the chain. So as the trees got thicker over the years, it swallowed the chain. So that just shows you how old this is.
Right.
And it hasn't been put on recently. And just a closer look at the chain there. Again, a very heavy steel chain with some of those padlocks on. And like I said, you can see it's grown into the tree just there. And it does move. Yeah, that is one meaty chain. And I can actually see some saw marks on some sections of this, so it looks like somebody's tried to or attempted to saw that off, but it has lasted, thank God. And then it makes its way around this side as well. Yeah, it is true, it is chained up, so it's not, the Alton Towers version is not a complete lie. It is based on an actual tree that does exist, and it's also based on a local legend. Now, like I said, the Alton Towers version isn't far from the actual story or the legend of what happened. There are some slight variations from it being a beggar woman to a beggar man, and also which Earl of Shrewsbury it was, and also which member of the Earl's family died. And also another legend was that it happened at Alton Towers itself, where somebody knocked on the door of the towers begging for food and shelter. The mysterious figure offered to tell the fortunes of his benefactors in return. Instead, they invited him in to mock him in their dining room and continued to hurl insults and food at the beggar. And that's where he cursed the Earl. He's believed to have said, "I will tell you your fortune, my lord. Tonight, a bough shall fall from an oak tree next to the Barbary track. It shall signal the death of one of your line, and each time another should fall, again you will know tragedy." It's then said that the Earl's son was late for dinner and was riding solo along the track next to the oak tree when a flash of lightning and the great bough fell and killed him as he passed. But again, none of this is actually corroborated. Various members of the Earl's family did die, but it's not recorded whether they were struck by lightning or killed near to Alton Towers. Most of them died of things like scarlet fever and abroad, actually. So that's where the story kind of gets a bit hazy. And it can't be 100% confirmed. But, like I said, whether you believe it or not, this oak tree is chained up. And if that's not the story, then why? Because them chains would have been very expensive back in the 1800s.
And they look really
Who
old,
would do that,
too.
and why? So there you go. That's the story or the legend of the chained oak just near Alton Towers. I've always wanted to come and see this, but when you're in the theme park, you spend every minute of the day in there, and then you want to leave at the end of the day. Whereas today, I left early just for you guys so I can capture this and head down here and get some shots for you. But I've always wanted to see it myself. I know a lot of people have been here on a little pilgrimage, especially after the ride at Alton Towers made its story very famous. But apparently it fell in 2007, this one. So it wasn't part of the legend of the branch that fell when the Earl's family mysteriously died. Where that branch was, we have no idea. But what a story, eh? So I'm just going to try and get down these steps without breaking my neck, and I'll get you one last shot from the bottom of these stairs. And there we go. Nice view from the bottom of what remains of the chained oak tree. Now let's take the drone up and get some closer shots at the oak tree, and also some beautiful shots of the area, and you might be able to see Alton Towers just through the trees as well. So I'll take you up as high as I can and show you around.
I'm not sure if I believe the story, obviously, but I am so happy it exists because I am digging the story. It's you've heard other tales like similar, beggars who get rebuffed and they put a curse on it, that sort of thing. You've heard other stories have similar type tropes, but this is interesting. We have something similar here in Ventura, nothing to do with chains, but something to do with our trees. We have on this hill, one of the higher hills overlooking Ventura, we have this place called Two Trees. Well, it's aforementioned because there was two trees. The legend has it that the person who owned the land at the time, many, many, many years ago, had 5 trees up on top of the hill. And it's always something you can see from a distance. And it was always something that, Ventura had 2 trees. In fact, we have restaurants and other businesses with the name Two Trees, such and such. Two Trees Restaurant, Two Trees Optometry, which is where I used to go and get my eyes done, work done and whatnot checked. So it has been ingrained into the city culture and legend forever. The legend has it, at least what I was told when I was a kid, there was 5 trees on top of this little hill, not little hill, but on top of this hill, that you can see for miles, right? It overlooks Ventura. And each tree was a representation of this owner, the man who owned the land, of every one of his children. And when one of the children died, so did a tree, mysteriously. Now, not that there was any mystery to the death of the children. It could have been of old age, could have been disease, whatever. But each one had passed away. And by the time I heard this story, there was only 2 trees left, and those had stand there for decades. Ever since I was a little kid, I knew of this story with 2 trees. Well, a couple years ago, one of the trees has died, and I don't know who the family is. I don't know if one of the children had passed away. To corroborate that story, I don't know, but they tried planting a new tree next to, in fact, it's on private land, but they had one day to have a charity. You could pay some money to hike up to it, and it was a pretty brutal hike, especially for someone who's out of shape, to get up there. But it was awesome to get up there, and we saw the tree that had died and fallen over. And these trees have survived fire, which have gone across that hillside many times over the years. And this one died of disease or something, and it just fell over at one point. And I got to take a piece of it home with me, and I thought, I'm going to make something out of this. It's hanging on the wall. Well, it's still sitting in the garage, so who knows? You know me. I say I'm going to do a lot of things. I plan on doing a lot of things. I never end up doing them. You've probably heard me say that many times of other things. But they did try to plant a tree next to it. I don't know if that tree was successful in taking root or not. You can see it up there. You see the original tree that's fully grown. And then you see this little stick popping up next to it. So hopefully that tree will survive and grow, and hopefully by the time I'm leaving this earth, that tree will have taken root and shown itself to, survive. But yeah, interesting. So it's interesting to hear this story in a route, and let me bring it back to what we just watched. I love the legend that goes with it. It just makes it even more interesting. Whether you believe it or not, who knows? But there is a mystery here. Is why are there chains on it? That chain looked pretty old. Why are there chains on it? Boy, did I just ramble on right there. I'm sorry. Drone work is very haunting, and the music is just kind of wraps you, sucks you in.
Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed our little look at the legend of the chained oak tree. Like I said, we don't know how much of it is true, but for now, we can all ride the ride at Alton Towers called Hex and take in their version. It's much more imaginative.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for joining us here in Staffordshire. I'll see you on the next video next week. Bye for now.
That was so good. Yeah, the legend is perfect. Hopefully that, I know it's not going to be true, but boy, it really adds to it. It's just, the mystery, like I said, is the chains. Why are there chains there and how long they've been there? Been there a while. Obvious. And great work on the drone, Darren. Lovely area. Lovely area. Hope everybody's happy, healthy, and safe. Thanks so much for coming. Let me know what you think. Have you been here? I know the legend, the tale is not true. You don't need to confirm that for me. But if you know anything about the chains and how they got there and why they got there, maybe it is true. Who knows? Let me know. And let me know if you've been there to seen it. Or if you've been to the amusement park. Darren does go to a lot of amusement parks, and we've watched a lot of his videos that included these stories of old amusement parks and whatnot. So get over to Adventure Me. Links will be in the below me here to get to the video and to his channel. He is a friend of ours here on our channel, and he's just a great human. So please get over there and support him at Adventure Me. It's really important that you do so, and I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. And we'll see you soon. All right, bye.
Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark.